Okay, well, I put a few dark spots on these trees. I changed the paint to a cobalt blue and burnt sienna and a hint of white here and there to soften them a little bit, so they're only slightly behind the darker ones. I wanted a painting, as I said, with this in it, and these lines were very strong, partly because they're very dark against some fairly warm, light, higher chroma colors behind it. So I found myself looking over here too much. I don't want to look over here too much. I want to look in here. Now, granted, this is not finished. This will have to become much more intense because we want to pull. We want our focal area to be here, not here. So I put a few more tree shapes in here to act as a barrier to keep the eye from looking over here too much. So I've just washed that in with turpentine and a little ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, and I think that serves the painting well. It becomes higher, it supports the strength of these, but gives it bulk rather than just vertical lines. That will aid in making this more important than this. I'm procrastinating doing the foliage on the top of these trees yet. I'll get to that. I'm going to, I think, just lay in a few lines here to help guide me as a future reference when I take the knife into this hillside here. I would like there to be the appearance of a swale between this rise dipping down and then going up to another rise. You would turn left and you'd follow it down into this wet ravine, I suppose it would be. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to throw a few lines in here. I think I might just put a rock in here as well. I'll raise that line. And let's see about this. These lines help to keep your eye going down there and help you to understand the lay of the land. I think it would be beneficial to throw a couple of lines in here as well. Throw them in. Okay, paint them in. Partly as an aid to, as I think I mentioned, or as I know I mentioned, to remind us the lay of the land. We're kind of laying, it's not a grid really, but it is indexing the shape that you want to achieve for the painting, ultimately. Loosely at least. I don't have to follow these lines. I'm just kind of going with my gut right now and seeing how that's going to fly. I think it's going to fly just fine. Okay, so we have this sort of swooping effect now. How about if we do this? Just a few lines pointing in the direction, again, not aiming right at our focal area, but pointing in that direction. See how it aids in perspective? You can sort of envision, I don't know if this is how it's going to end up, but you can sort of envision roundish rocky structure now going from here up to there, curved a little bit, brings us to a miniature plane, a subplane, if you will. So in my foreground design, I'm doing a number of things. I'm trying to keep it subdued, less important. I'm trying to work with the lines that I have up top. I know that we're going to have foliage, or I've decided so far that I'm going to have foliage that's going to come down and come fairly close to here and then go back up again, right? So we have this motion. I'd like to oppose that, which actually, strangely enough, even though you're technically opposing it, you're also supporting it, this movement with this movement. So we want this, as I mentioned before, this line will be pretty strong. Everything sort of below this line will be very strong. Everything above it, between here and the trees, will be just a little bit weaker. Not much, but a little bit. So that sort of helps you to have the feeling, or the viewer to have the feeling of slope, of swale. I think I'm going to cut up there. I'm going to just cut up into that bump. I don't want that bump to be too harsh. Yeah, that's better. Alright. Well, you know, I put a couple of mild bits of trunk showing in these ones. I did end up adding this little stump. You know, our space between here and here was just a little bit too directly below the center of the painting. So I think this helps. It pushes it to the left, pushes the design to the left. Adding more bulk in here, more volume in here, pushes your eye to the right. Which is good. We don't want too much attention drawn to here. Got a little carried away with strength there. When you consider that I've actually dumbed down this paint and the colors in the background here. So we'll see how that flies. Yeah, I'm probably going to jump into the foreground next and these little trees. And the thing at the moment that I'm the most afraid of, and that's because I worry about doing a good job of it, and I know I've done it 1,000 times, but I always fret a little bit. I always worry a little bit. Oh, this has to be just right, not too soft, not too strong, not too loose, not too tight, blah 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 blah. Okay, talk to you soon. Hope your weekend's going well.